We're gonna talk run fueling today, so buckle up. This is a important public service announcement. I am not saying carbohydrates are bad. I am not saying fueling with carbohydrates is bad. I am not saying fueling is bad. But what I am saying, to optimize your performance, to optimize your physiology, not only in training, but in racing, it's prudent to understand how to become more metabolically flexible. Meaning, hey, we need our body to burn fat when we want it to, and we want our body to burn carbohydrates when we want to. So let's dive in. I know all of you have heard, well, we have enough fat in our body to help sustain us for multiple marathons, multiple ultras, but we have to train it for that to take place. And that's what we're going to discuss. A few points of maybe this off season, how you can start to train a little differently to help catapult your metabolically flexible ability. We're in this world now where something gains popularity and then it's taken to extreme. For example, back in the Born to Run days, minimal and barefoot, it wasn't until page, I think 106 in the book that even mentioned barefoot, but the media grabbed a hold of it and it became this all or nothing approach to running where it's just a tool. And again, the idea is that it just really swung way too far to one end and said it was the be all end all. Just like Zone 2. Zone 2 has been around for a long, long time, and it fluctuates in popularity within the media and influencers, but right now, hey, Zone 2 talking point's popular. So again, the pendulum swings, and therefore it's driven home that it's so important that that's all people do. And now we're starting to see it with this carvolution, where it's swinging way over to one end, and it positions everybody to think this is the only way to be, or more is better, without really truly understanding physiology and metabolism. But first, I know you want to know what's on my feet today. I've got a 1,200 foot climb. I want to run relatively quickly, quick turnover. So I chose the normal Shirag 2 for this climb. So I can really take advantage of its super lightweight properties. And that's kind of really where this shoe shines. It's my second run in it. So I've had it for a while, but really haven't run in it. And today's the day. And like I said, I really want to take advantage of the lightweight properties to really climb well. What I'm noticing right away though, with the narrow mid instep, it's obviously agile. That's the purpose of it. But with the added stack height from the original, it's a little unstable, and at the same time, very, very fast. So again, that's always that balance we're playing now with these new foams of having a little bit faster punch and pop with the midsole foam, but losing some stability. So just first initial impressions, stay tuned. So nutrition and fueling, man, it's a can of worms, right? We can talk all day on this. So I want to keep today to kind of a single few points. And I'm going to start by letting you know what I'm doing. It is 11:30 a.m. I am fasted from an eating time from last night of 6 p.m. So I'm coming into the run very depleted of carbohydrates. And like I mentioned, I have a 3 mile 1,200 foot climb, and I'm pegging it right at zone 5, which in my zone system is sub-threshold. Zone 6 is threshold, where the point where you really cross over and use a lot of carbohydrates. So also allows me to talk to you guys. Physiologically, I'm aerobic, and ideally burning primarily fat during this run. So if I preloaded with carbs or fuel during this run, this effort, my body would automatically convert to looking for those carbohydrates to burn. I don't want that to happen for this type of run. Creating metabolically flexible ability. You know, and like we said, this is a can of worms, so keep in mind, I'm, 25 years plus fat adapted. So my body's used to grabbing a hold of that fat. Whereas if you're doing this for the first time, your body's gonna like, where's the carbs I'm used to? I also think it's important to state that there's a lot of new viewers coming to my channel because of change in the algorithm. A lot of people who have no idea who I am, what I've done, blah, blah, blah. So again, with a lot of my content, the idea is to present a new way of thinking, or maybe a new way for you to think and elevate your performance. So that's all this is. It's just an example. So why is this important? Why is it important to be metabolically flexible? Well, let's use a race example. Let's say you're out in an ultra or long race and you start to have stomach trouble and you're not able to eat. Well, if you put some training principles in place, your body's set up for that. It's used to that, and it's not a big shock to the system. Secondly, in ultras and in long runs, the effort is usually primarily aerobic. Therefore, that's your fat burning window. And if we can train our body to burn that fat, to see it and burn it, and not rely on carbohydrates even in an aerobic state, now we're able to store more carbohydrates for later on when we need it. And it quite possibly can help you to limit the amount of carbohydrates you need per hour, and or the carbohydrates that you do take in work better. They're more potent and more efficient. And this can help eliminate stomach issues. And did we mention save you a little bit of money on your long runs? Right over the other side of that near ridge is home. And on the other side of the ridge I'm on are the Tetons. Okay, like I mentioned, we can talk for days about this. So I want to leave you with a couple points for you to practice if you're interested in this, and maybe it's a new concept to you. And I'll circle back with a variety of videos throughout the rest of the year, kind of hitting more points. But 2 ways to start practicing this, and especially as we're going into fall and maybe the off season, where going into fall you're rather fit coming off the season, and so your fitness is not the limiter here. It will be how you're fueling as something, as the somewhat, so to speak, as the limiter that you can improve upon. So there's 2 ways I want to talk about. One, start with your weekday easy runs. These typically be, during the week, we're working These easier runs typically end up being on the shorter side. So if you're used to fueling before an easy weekday run or during or both, start to do these runs fasted, especially if they're in the morning. Just go out, do your nice, easy zone 2 endurance type of effort without eating. And just start to notice how you feel, start to condition the body not to be used to pulling in those carbohydrates first. Because if they're there, that's the first thing our body's going to reach for, is to burn those carbohydrates. But if they're not there, then you're forcing and conditioning your body to start to seek out your fat reserves. And that's what we want during these runs. So again, they're going to be short enough where you're not necessarily going to bonk. You might not always feel great, but through time, you'll start feeling better and better. And that's what you want to gravitate to, and have an awareness of starting to feel better and better. And don't worry about your speed. That might be a little bit slower relative to your easy heart rate or the effort that you're used to putting out during these runs. Okay, so try that during the weekday. And then, again, you're going into fall or the off season, start to strategically look at some of your long runs and do them easy, but doing the same thing, seeing how long you can go without fueling, and saying the purpose of today's long run is just training my body to burn fat. Again, go into it fasted and see how long you can go before you start really feeling bad or bonking. And then you can either stop and call it a day, and through time, just go longer and longer, typically how you would build your long run during the base building anyways, okay? Or if you want, you could, if you still want to get in a super long run and not be shortened by your fueling, take some fuel with you, run easy for as long as you can until you really are feeling that bonk come on, and then fuel to help you finish the amount of running that you want to do that day. So you're, again, through time, you're going longer and longer and longer without this fuel. And then opposite of that, some days where you're running faster, just fuel how you normally do. Again, this is just 2 points to start to practice, to start to condition the body to become a little bit more flexible. Okay, and on those long runs, I always have my athletes, or at least I'm monitoring my athlete's heart rate. One way to detect as you start to become better and better at fat burning on these longer, easier runs is looking at your heart rate. Is when we get low on fuel, our heart rate will start to drop, because it's harder and harder to put out an effort because we're low on glycogen or carbohydrates. So as you get better and better at this, you'll start to notice that your heart rate doesn't drop. Today is a perfect example for me. Like I mentioned, I did about a 3-mile climb, hard climb, sub-threshold. I kept it in zone 5, again, sub-threshold, but my heart rate was high. It was right where it needed to be. If I was not fat adapted and not used to training this way, my body would have been low on glycogen, and therefore my heart rate would have dropped, and I would have had a hard time elevating my heart rate into that zone 5 sub-threshold effort. Okay, so that's my way of, as a coach and as an athlete, to detect how conditioned I am for burning fat. So use that as a diagnostic and a way to troubleshoot. When you're out for your long run and hey, you're in 90 minutes feeling great, heart rate's where it should be, but then all of a sudden it starts to drop, you know that's maybe your limit right now. But hey, in a couple weeks, you're able to go 2 hours before that happens, and 2:15 and 2:30. Okay, that's how we want to use this as a diagnostic to let you know that you're improving. This is not meant to swing the pendulum in the other direction and say carbs are bad. This is a way to become a more efficient, metabolically flexible athlete that is going to serve a lot of purposes that, again, like I mentioned, we'll continue to dive in future videos. Okay, so just take this for what it is, for these few points, and see how it works for you. All right, that's all I've got for you. The wind's picking up, the storm's coming in, it's fall. Over and out from Skyline Trail, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, Born to Run World. See you guys.